Welcome back, everybody. We've got another day of Nova tournaments, and this is Trident's run through this lower bracket. Now, they'll be taking on Naughty Sausages today, but joining me today, the lovely Tiaki. How are we doing?
Doing absolutely amazing. And I mean, as you said, look at the two teams that are bringing themselves to battle today. Naughty Sausages up against Trident. It's going to be a good match, regardless of the way that you look at it. In their current positions and in their current standings, obviously, as we know, Trident, they're having to make their way through this lower bracket run. It is a long stretch that they have to make their run through, especially with last night's game, which you casted over there, KJ, 2-1. Nutty Gaming were not able to beat over Trident, especially going to that last map in Skyscraper. So now we go into the LB, the lower bracket, round number 2. Naughty Sausages versus Trident. It's going to be one absolutely interesting match. Now, what do you think about the opportunities for Trident this evening?
Well, seeing as, Naughty Sausages, they were able to play in that winning bracket game, and that was quite early on in the playoffs. That was the first game to occur, and obviously they did lose that game, but they've had time to sort of recuperate and rest, whereas Trident, they're playing on the back of a best-of-3 last night, which 2 of those games went into overtime, so I don't know how their days have been today. Maybe they had a day of work, maybe they didn't, but, definitely they could be running low on that fuel, and the stamina could run out, but maybe they've got enough in the tank to carry through this matchup. But in terms of the predictions, what we think the winning team is for tonight, I reckon it will be Trident.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm going to say Naughty Sausages on the back of my end. I just feel like they've got the power, they've got the ability. If they are not able to shut down a lot of their players from Naughty, it can definitely be a bit of a run over. And I have a feeling that with the amount of time that Naughty Sausages have had off and taking a break, they definitely had the time to sort of collect their skills up and revamp themselves ready for their next match. Trident have been going since yesterday. They'll be going today, and if so, they may even end up going in 2 or so days again and again and again. It's just going to be best of threes for them. They are going to get incredibly tired trying to make that run up to the full end of the finals, but it depends on whether or not they can. Now, running to everyone else's predictions, obviously, Chef Jeff coming in there with the 2-0 for Naughty Sausages. Officer Ling coming in 2-0 as well. And Kratos looks like he's joining you on that pact there, KJ. Trident all the way. The hype train continues. The 2-0 for Kratos there.
Yeah, he thinks that it'll be a clean one. I don't think that, if Trident are to win, I think it will be in that best of 3. I don't think that they'd be able to do it in that clean sweep like Kratos says, because, like I said, the stamina, I don't know if they have it in them to sort of open up really well here. They might be able to switch on after the first few rounds and maybe after a map, but I think, judging from last night, I think it's a lot of work and a lot to ask for from the players. And we also know that there's some missing players for tonight's game from both rosters. We do not have Zebi on Trident, which was a big, impactful player in that roster last night. And then we don't have Hale on Naughty Sausages, another impactful player. So I think both teams have some missing links. So it's a bit of an unknown with how it'll play. And obviously the players that don't usually get to play, those sub players, they get to sort of shine and show what they got.
Well, you have to expect them to be doing really well. Now, moving into the map veto for this evening, let's have a look at what we will be heading to with you, chat, for this evening. It looks like we're going to be going over straight on 2. Well, the first ban is obviously going to be Skyscraper. We don't want to see that map in play. It looks like Naughty doesn't want to see it either. They know that Trident can be pretty good on it. It is a problem child for them. And as a result, Trident will bounce back and ban off Border. Now, coming in as the third ban will be Theme Park Naughty Sausages. Just a map that they don't really like. They can't really play on with their aggressive sort of playstyle. And that makes sense. Trident coming in, fourth ban. It's going to be that bank. It's a problem child for Trident. They've absolutely hated playing on it for such a long period of time. We have seen them ban it consistently within the first 2 bans, but it looks like they're going to be banning it again this evening. Now, the maps to be played will be Oregon with Naughty Sausages making the pick there, and Clubhouse making the pick for Trident. And the final 2 bans to come through will be Cafe and Chalet. So the final map that we will be going to will be Villa, and that will be all said and done for the decider if we do end up going to that map. What do you think about the 2 maps that are currently being in play, however, KJ?
I think it's definitely sort of a repeat of yesterday. Obviously, Trident, they played both Oregon and Clubhouse, the 2 opening maps of today, and the minimum amount of maps to be played. So, you know, if Naughty Sausages did any sort of homework, they can definitely see at the way that Trident both not only defends, but also attacks on both maps. And they can realize that, you know, Trident, it wasn't a clean sort of maps on those, score on those maps. They sort of struggled a little bit. Both games went to that overtime. So definitely opportunity for Naughty Sausages to win, you know, if they have that adaptation in place. But I think, you know, if Trident can sort of work out what went wrong yesterday and fix it in tonight's game, it's definitely still in the books for them to win it 100%. But it just depends on whether they've got that sort of idea in the bag or if they're going to fall short. But Villa being the last one, we didn't get to see that yesterday. That was Skyscraper. But we did see Sali in the interview. He did say that they prepared for Villa. So if it does go to that map, then they might be a little bit more prepared than they are Skyscraper. So I guess we'll see. But first map to go into Tiaki, and it is the Oregon. So Naughty Sausages on that defense and Trident on that attack. I'd like to say that Oregon is a little bit more balanced. You know, it still always favors the defense. I'd say compared to Clubhouse, I'd say it's a little bit more attacker friendly. But we do have that advantage of that basement side, and I'd imagine that both these teams love to abuse it. But I don't know if you saw yesterday, Tiaki, they actually both Trident and Nutty lost that site twice, and won it a 3rd time round. So maybe it's a repeat of yesterday.
Well, we got to hope that Trident have learned from their mistakes. As you said, they've had the time and ability to go through it all and through everything else that they really needed to be doing, especially playing over. I mean, they had the VOD from yesterday. It would have been enough to just get that VOD review down and pat and set up, so the entire team knows exactly what they need to be doing and how they need to be playing. That's the best thing that Trident could have done. They could have seen exactly what went wrong up against Nutty. I mean, you've got a lot of frag-heavy players, so it makes sense to be able to do that. But on the side of NTE, but you know, coming in, this is another group of frag-heavy players. Naughty Sausages all set around those frags. Now, the first few bans to come through, Flores and Ying, kind of your normal bans. Flores, especially for that bunker hold downstairs. You really don't want him being able to put pressure on that shield sitting inside of the blue bunker. However, Clash, obviously, coming in as a first defender ban. Quite an annoying operator to play up against, and we have seen teams use it quite significantly. Naughty Sausages, I think that was actually a target ban towards Trident because they have used Clash more so than other teams within this competition. Now, coming in, Azami is going to be the final ban, and that is just sort of your normal sort of operator to be removed off the board. But as you said in the starting of the game, basement. It is the toughest site for Trident. They've had so many issues, and we're seeing it as the first pick. What do you think's going to happen here, KJ?
Yeah, I don't know, but those target bans from Naughty Sausages, both the Ying and the Clash. The Ying was a staple of pretty much all of their attacks for Taz. He was the one running that one, so maybe he's going to have to play something a little bit different. But that clash, it didn't really work out for them. They used it every round that they were on this site, and it didn't really have any effect to how they won it, because they lost it twice in a row. They won it the third time round. So that being off the board, I don't think is going to affect Trident all that much, but definitely the Ying. And it'll be interesting to see how they hold this. They're running that Goyo and the Tachanka, though, so double the fire, double the flame. But we see some interesting picks from Naughty Sausages as well. They're running that Maverick just in case that hatch is catered, which it is not, but it is available. So a bit of an interesting sort of play by them, but I guess they're sort of just playing the frags.
Well, you can immediately start to see the playstyle coming in from Naughty. This sort of aggressive, little bit of an aggressive sort of playstyle as Captain Oz. He's going to be making his way up towards the bunker, and he's already been able to push in. So they've been able to get any sort of pressure on. Oh my lord, he's actually pushed all the way through. He's been able to spot one player. He's going to find something here. He's able to find Shuri to start it straight off, but one player is going to be sitting on that backstairs. It will be Taz, but that is a huge pick. The Jaeger being brought down. Luckily, a lot of his utility can just be placed and set up, as it looks like Life will spot one out as well. This is the aggression that I was talking from the side of Naughty Sausages. You cannot let them get any point, any aggressive sort of play, as Hills will find one as well onto Sally. Now it's back. Pew is going to be taken off, or Pew as he likes to be called, is able to take off Yoet's Life, and already a 3v2 matters, and it feels like seconds within the round, seconds within the game, and he's already, I mean, Trident, they're already down to 2 players. What is going on?
It's definitely an interesting situation that they've got themselves into, but the Goyo packs will be popped, so it's going to delay for a little bit so they can sort of take a breather and figure out how they want to eliminate these positions of these last 3 attackers. But Sweat, he's stuck in Freezer, and Pew, he's stuck on this laundry rotate. He's going to take some damage, and Pew's actually going to go down from that God Wall there. So Harry making use of this pillar position. Sweat's forced to swing, but they've got all the post-plant positions, and that will be the first round done and dusted. And once again, Trident, they're just not comfortable on this basement side. Like I said, Tiaki, it's not a good one for them. They need to stick to the site that they're more comfortable with, which is that top floor. And but they're going to run it back a second time. No, they're going to go to the kids. They're tuning into the comms here, and I think that's a good decision for them. Keep things moving around and don't try and go back until a little bit later when you've cleared your mind from it. But I think, even though they had all those rounds on that site yesterday, they still haven't learnt the way that they want to hold that yet. So a little bit more work to do, and I think it'll be a little bit better for them. But Kids Dorms to kick off the round 2, and they're bringing pretty much the same ops that they ran yesterday, bringing that Aruni for that entry denial as well as that util denial. But running both Jaeger and Wumai as well, trying to deny any nades to come through those windows or those doorways. So definitely focus on that. But with all the util that Naughty Sausages is bringing, will it be enough?
Well, as you said, Ling, let's talk about that downstairs just for a little bit longer here. They played up against a team, as we said, had a little bit of, well, a considerable amount of frag-heavy players. So they're used to that sort of playstyle coming in from teams. But then again, this is Naughty Sausages. This is a different caliber of those sorts of playstyles. Like, these guys will play off mechanical skill more than a lot of the other teams in this competition. So I think Trident, they did make a few switches, they did try to change it up, but they didn't realize how aggressive Naughty Sausages were actually going to make their push here. And it showed immediately. I mean, Captain Oz, look at him again. He's already pushed up so far, and he's already gained so much map control just by identifying that he can push these angles and push players off of these angles. Regardless, however, we're going to see a basic sort of setup. Main wall is going to be opened up as Hills will look to open up into Attic as well. You're going to have this double sort of playstyle. Both sides of pressure are going to be opened up for Trident, and they will need to be watching these angles very, very carefully. As now he'll begin to open up in towards Attic, and that will be perfect for him to start making a move up. The Dirk will be covering him by Yoet's life in that position. As now Cell, he'll just be sitting close on this wall. Orion's going to be waiting for the call to start opening up in towards that main attic, as Harry will be on the double window. Taz is actually going to get a bit aggressive here. Harry needs to be careful. Shotgun's in play, and it is a sniper, as Harry will be taken off the board. Sure, he's able to find one onto Captain Oz, and now we're starting to see the way that Trident needs to be playing. If you cannot play that bottom floor, look to go upstairs, look to go to the other sides, look to go to the tertiary side even. If it's one of your most uncommon, just go to it. Go to something else that works. Don't play the same site over and over again if it's not going to get you results.
Yeah, definitely a smart decision to go to this top floor, and it's definitely paying dividends for them this time around. And they've got these 2 opening picks, 50 seconds on the clock, and not a lot of control gain. They only really have this attic position. Life is here on this master, but the wall actually isn't open. He's going to EMP, so it is going to start to detonate those Selma charges to open up the wall. But Orion to find the first frag for his team, and that'll be Shuri off the board once again. But 4v3 now. The time is ticking. 30 seconds on the clock. The Runic Gate will be burnt, and they're going to have to start to charge their way onto the side. But Taz with a nice shot from Dorms there, and Sali with the swing with the shotgun, but Hills there for the refrag. 1v3. It's a lot to ask for. 20 seconds on the clock, though. Does he have what it takes to find these players, or is the time going to run down and he's forced to take this round as a sort of breathing point and focus on the next? I think that's the case. Taz just close it out, and that'll be Hills down for the count. Try to find round 2. And a little bit of a back and forth. We saw that a lot in the games last night with Trident against Nutty, so I wonder if it'll be a similar occurrence tonight, or if it's going to be a more dominant performance from either side. But so far, it is that back and forth story.
Look at the sigh of relief from Sal there. He was able to identify that this site, they can shut down. They can get those points that they need. And once again, we're going to be seeing an attempt at this bottom floor. A few operator changes. Not a bad idea to go back down, change up the operators if you really want to get control of the site. I mean, as you said, and as we have said, this is one of the easiest sites to control as a defender on this map. It just depends on how you play. You need your roamers to be active. They need to be finding these players. You need someone watching bunker, preferably, so that good old Captain Oz just doesn't rush straight through and get control as quick as he has been. So the interesting change up that we're going to be seeing here is the new operator is going to be brought into play. So Fenrir, I believe his name is. Correct me if I'm wrong,
yeah.
KJ. Fenrir. Close enough. Winrar, you know, close enough. But he'll be brought into play, and as we know, he's one of those amazing intel grabbing operators. And you can see a bit of a change up coming in for Naughty Sausages. They don't want to go for the same sort of play. They know that they could be expected to be doing those sorts of pushes. So now they're going to go for a bit of a slower sort of play style. But as we say that, Papa Taz, the man that has been doing a lot of work, 5-1, is able to pick up Hills. And that is a lot of your roam denial going to be taken off the board.
Yeah, getting Nomad early is going to shut down that ability to cut off those sort of rotates from defenders by putting those air jabs on those doorways. So having that off the board, you can be a little bit safer, and having that opening pick, you can also be a little bit safer. But the thing is, Captain Oz is on the lurk. He just loves gaining this control so quickly with the intel from his team. So he's going to be careful here on the back stairs. Otherwise, Captain Oz is going to get a lucky wallbang. But I think he's going to rotate off. He doesn't want to risk his life. They have that opening pick. They have the time to play with. So hopefully they remain to do so. But he's just going to eliminate that camera, and he's going to use the intel of his drone to sort of work out what he wants to do next. But their next step for Naughty Sausage is trying to get these hatches open and try and pressure these people in the site. They're going to reinforce off that elbow and hopefully deny some more entry points for the side of Naughty Sausages. But a little bit of a stalemate. They're just sort of stalling out a little bit as these hatches get opened by the Habana. So they do have Habana in play. No Cade Claws to deal with, so definitely a lot easier to clear. So that in play, Trident's going to be careful on, you know, the fact that now Naughty Sausages, they have the time to execute and work out what they want to do with all this control.
Well, we can already start to see Orion. He's going to start trying to make a bit of pressure on one side as two players. They're going to be making their way down the bottom of Freezer, trying to see if they can push off this player using that little pixel peek, as Orion will look to try and see if he can spot one player. He's thinking about making the move in. He may actually end up getting caught here if he's not careful. Flashbangs will be sent through, will be completed, as now Orion's going to take a lot of damage. It will be Pew to take him off, as immediately, yo, it's life! He's come down the back stairs, able to find two. That's going to bring it back to a 2-on-2. Captain Oz is going to be spotted out. Harry needs to push up and start putting some pressure, but I think Pew is going to expect it. Trade will come in, as now it's down to two members, Shuri and Captain Oz. No nades available for Captain Oz. Diffuser is going to be down, as Shuri can just play back and wait. Diffuser will be attempted by Captain Oz. The time is going to run out. He's going to make a run for it, not expecting the player to be far away, and Trident will secure their first round downstairs.
It's not the same story as yesterday. They are able to win it the second time round, and they definitely played it a lot smarter, utilizing that Fenrir as well as just playing it a whole lot better. They found the opening pick, which was absolutely huge, and that sort of slowed the push from Naughty Sausages and the clear. Obviously a different push, so it didn't work out as well as their bunker push, but it just seemed like Trident, they had a better grip and a better understanding on how they wanted to play that site. So definitely some adaptation there, and definitely helped within winning the round. And now they're going to go to this tertiary site, which is that meeting kitchen site, and they're going to bring some operators that we didn't see them play all that much yet. So they're bringing in Allah as well as that Solus. So maybe some intel on the board from Pew, or trying to deny any sort of pre-placed drones that Naughty Sausages may have, so that Captain Oz can take that control so quickly. So if they can eliminate that, maybe it can slow down these fast, aggressive pushes from the side of Naughty Sausages. But having that Allah, I wonder where they're going to play that and where they're going to utilize those Grismont mines to deny those entries. But definitely some interesting picks all around, and keen to see. But Hills is going to switch off that Glaz, which I wanted to see, but he's going to run that IQ just in case to spot out these this utility, and maybe that Solus on the lurk.
Well, as we know from the side of Trident, they love to deny as much as they can when it comes to a lot of the plays that a lot of teams try to make, and a lot of the positions that they try to play. Obviously that Solus coming in is just going to remove any sort of drone potential, as you mentioned, and as we saw from Pew, he's able to take down two drones straight off the bat, as now we're starting to see a bit of droning coming in upstairs. Two players were on this back stairs, and it looks like they will possibly look to try and gain control of this attic, as Pew, he's going to be spotted out, will remove the drone, so he's not going to be able to see any jump in just yet. May even decide to re-aggress on this position if he can hear someone jumping in, but he may not have heard it, as he'll be able to make his jump in. Captain Oz on the opposite side as well as Harry, so it looks like they will be trying to cut off anyone on this top floor. Captain Oz will find the first, make it two, as he's able to completely clear upstairs. Give him an ash and he'll find multiple, as now they'll start to open up in towards this site. As we said, this is a tertiary site, so this will be where Trident will most likely struggle. It's not a common site for them to be playing, so they won't be fully ready for it, as Harry will be dropped down. One spotted out. Captain Oz is not able to spot out the second. Triple kill for him. Pew's going to start to make his way up. Hill's able to find the kill. It's one more player upstairs. Diffuser is going to be attempted. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the round, and it is over, as Naughty Sausages just start running through Trident completely, and Captain Oz has a lot to say about that round.
Yeah, I think that is the way that Naughty Sausages play. They definitely play off that aggression and those quick sort of plays. So I think if they continue to work their way around Trident's strats and find the little weaknesses within it, they can definitely abuse that and sort of work their way into the site like they just did, and just play the frags, because clearly they trust their mechanical skill enough to do so. But that was the tertiary site, so it was a little bit of a hit or miss for Trident, and unfortunately for them, it was the miss part of that message. And I think now they get to go to something more common, something a little bit more comfortable. And we saw them win this quite comfortably, so I think if they can sort of adapt a little bit, not too much, but play it a little bit differently so that they don't get read into by Naughty Sausages, they can definitely win here and bring it back. But so far, it is that back and forth action. And I think it's just the nature of these maps. Both teams like to outdo each other round in, round out, and this is the result that we get. But I don't know how this is going to go. So far, 2-2. It's just so close.
Yeah, I'll be honest, KJ. For the Naughty Sausages map pick of Oregon, I wouldn't expect this to be their map pick, to be honest with you. With the way that they've been currently playing and the way that they've been operating around each other, and the way that we've seen them really as a generalized whole. With all of this, as I say that, Pew will immediately shut down Captain Oz before he can even make an impact on the map. And 3 members for the side of Trident will be upstairs, but when one member goes down, there's always another member to come up quite close to his back, and it will be Harry M, who will find the trade pick back onto Sweat. But as I was saying, you wouldn't expect this to be Naughty Sausages map. With the way that they've been playing so far, I feel like they weren't properly ready for this map setup. Sal's going to be on 1 HP as well. I'd expect, honestly, for Naughty Sausages to be picking Clubhouse, but it looks like it's been completely switched around. And we can start to see a bit of movement coming in from Naughty Sausages as they will try to take upstairs. Hill's even able to find one, as Harry will be able to find a second. So 1 player is going to be upstairs and 2 players down.
Yeah, and it's all left to Shuri and Taz to clutch it out. There is one in Dining. It's all about this engagement from Shuri as well as Hills. If he can find this pick, it's a little bit more doable. But if he's able to not win this gunfight, it's not going to be looking good. But he does. He does swing. He finds the head of Hills. And now they've got to play their cards right. They're going to make sure that they don't find their way onto the site and get this plant done. Otherwise, it will be too difficult to retake these positions and retake the site. But Taz, he's all by himself. He's trying to find the pick on Orion, but he wins the gunfight. It's all left to Shuri downstairs to retake the entire of this top floor, and it's just a little bit much to ask for from him. He's just got all the angles covered.
Oh.
It's not enough.
And I mean, that's what you expect from Naughty Sausages. When they get on the roll, when they get on the run, they are a very scary team to come up against. They definitely can take the control when it is necessary. And these rounds are key. Every single round that Naughty Sausages gets here means that they will have an easier time on the defense. It just depends on whether or not they can shut down the entirety of Trident and bring it to a 4-2, or we'll try and be able to bring it to a 3-3. And straight away, we're starting to see a different sort of site pick. But look what the scary people of Naughty Sausages have brought in. It's a man with a shield that doesn't stop for anyone. The Blitz is in play. And KJ, isn't it scary to see that man running at you?
It definitely is, and why not do it on the last round of your attacking half? You've already secured 3 rounds. That's pretty good on a map like Oregon, so if you can secure this 4th one by doing a surprise play with that Blitz, you know, they do have these Goya packs, they do have the Fenrir gadgets, and they do have a Warden, so it's not out of the question that they can counter it. It just it's whether they're ready for such a play. But they do know Captain Oz. He does play these cheeky operators quite often. I mean, Pulse is still on the board, so, you know, maybe he uses that at a later time in this map. But look at it. It's already unfolding here in the bunker. Are they aware that it's about to happen? Orion's going to Ash Charge on through. They're going to utilize this Bravo to hack the cam. So even just all this benefits from it. But there we go. Pew to open up the round. He's able to shut down the Ash. And that's already going to work in your favor. You've got less sort of bodies to deal with. But they do have Taz on these backstairs. So Blitz is going to be careful of walking through. But it's sort of just stalled out a little bit. They're just slowing things down, working out what they want to do. Hills to find the pick back onto Pew. They're going to spot out Taz. He's going to utilize those impacts to try and do some damage, but nothing to come of it just yet. But Life, he's going to go down from Taz. Sally to find Hills. Sweat to find Harry. It's all left to Captain Oz. And Trident are ready for it.
Welcome to lower bracket round number 2. Trident versus Naughty. Look at this. This is absolutely insane. What a thought process from Naughty Sausages. They're here to have some fun, and that is the scariest operator pick that you could ever see put into play right now, KJ. Captain Oz, that pulse is in play. That is terrifying for any team.
It
And the
definitely
shotgun
is.
as well. So, obviously, with that last round, Naughty Sausages, they weren't really playing to get as much control. They were trying to go for a very quick rush strategy, bring 4 players downstairs, 1 player upstairs, being Yoat's Life, trying to contest with that player on the backstairs, being Papataz. They kind of got slowed out by losing a player from Pew, who was able to immediately just remove one straight off the bat as he was trying to make entry. And that really helped Trident. It really helped them assess exactly where this pressure was going to be coming from. But for now, it's a 3-on-3. Trident and Naughty, they are so close to each other, and Yoat's Life already looking for the spawn peaks. This is what you have to fear from Naughty. As we talked about their aggression earlier, they can play around with your head, your mind, your feelings. It is just so difficult to understand exactly where Naughty Sausages are always going to be. And even worse, when Captain Oz is with that shotgun, he can be in any position and find the kills that he needs.
He definitely can, and that's the scary part about this entirety of the sort of lineup, is look at all the intel that they can gain. They've got not only the pulse, but they've also got this Solus as well, so maybe they're going to work hand in hand to help each other get some kills here. But Orion, he's down on the basement, on the first floor in security, and he's going to be utilizing those Fenrir gadgets for his team above him. So good sort of position, and I like the play from this. You're able to help your team above, but also hold another position. And he's just currently getting collapsed upon those. He's going to be careful whether he stays here or not as they spot him out with these drones and those Yana clones. And he's going to start to activate these gadgets to help him decide where they're pushing from. But Shuri with a quick nade, but detonates a little bit too early. And he is aware of all these angles, but they're just stalling out for time right now, Tiaki.
And that's exactly what Naughty Sausages like to play around with on their defensive side. It's a time-based game. Play the round out as long as you possibly can. Orion being in this position stops so many players from making a lot of their movement. And with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, they're starting to run out of time. But as we can see it straight off the bat, Taz will find 1, Hills will find 2, and that is where you are looking for your main man, Hills, down there. He needed to find those 2 players to slow down the playstyle from Trident. But now with 60 seconds on the board, Trident, they can take as long as they need to start making their push. They've alleviated so much pressure in their positions. Harry's able to find 1 on Tashiri. Sal's not going to read it. Captain Oz will find the kill onto Sal. That's diffuser down. A player's coming behind. Sweat will read it perfectly. Hills is going to be removed. Now it's all down to the Ash of Sweat to find multiple. Harry's going to be dropped down. It's all down to Captain Oz. The Ash charge for not just a little bit of BM, but getting the player removed off the board. Captain Oz, however, he will have the player on a heartbeat. He can wait for this player to make some sort of movement. Sweat is running out of time. The pre-fire will come through the floor, hoping to find Captain Oz in that position. Shotgun in hand, 8 bullets remaining. The peek comes through, and Naughty will find their first round.
Yeah, the Captain Oz on that pulse shotgun is just doing the work for his team. And Hills, I think that was the most influential and impact of that round entirely. You know, Trident found 2 picks down there on that first floor, and then Hills comes in with the flank and finds 2 and was unpunished for so long. And I think that was the real sort of gut wrencher for Trident that ultimately lost them the round. So they can't be letting things like that happen. They need to be more aware of where Naughty Sausages are playing and the sort of plays that they want to execute in those dire situations. So now that Naughty Sausages are going to go on this basement, you should expect them to sort of play a little bit aggressive, swing up these staircases, try and take the gunfights to you. So if you play a little bit more patiently, I think Trident might find the better end of the stick. But look at what they're bringing. They're bringing this mirror, which we didn't see Trident bring, and it's definitely an operator that's annoying to deal with. You do have access to that Habana that can definitely help with clearing these mirrors, but it's just an annoying thing. It's another step. It's another thing to clear. And I think if Trident can't deal with it, it will overcome them.
Yeah, Mirror, as you say, KJ, such an annoying operator. And I'm sure that in your ranked games as well, KJ, it's probably really annoying to get rid of consistently when it's just constantly seen again and again and again. But then again, we haven't seen it this game, so it's going to be a little bit of a different playstyle. Hills in a perfect roaming position up with Captain Oz. As the drone, will it spot him? I don't think it has. The drone has not spotted him, but they are going to predict that he is in that position. Nade will be cooked out as the peak will come through, and Hills will find the first pick onto Shuri. You cannot be worried about small plays. You need to be worried about the aggression that we constantly see from Naughty, and we've been talking about it all game. Trident playing so scared up against these players that will push immediately. Puppetaz is also going to be brought down, as looks like Trident, they cannot get this upstairs controlled. This is going to need to be a different push.
No.
Hill's getting aggressive as well. He's still on the outside. Sal will be able to pick him up. As Wet now all down to 2 members remaining from Trident. They'll need to start cleaning this up. They'll need to start finding the kills necessary. Sweat, he's going to push forward to try and see if he can spot someone close, or try and see if he can find a kill. But there, immediately, yo, it's life. He's ready for it. It's all down to Sal. And as quick as the round started, KJ, the round has been completed.
Yeah, I think Trident, now that they're on the attack, it's exactly what we talked about. Naughty Sausages, they're not going to play the site. They're going to just swing you. They're going to take the gunfights to you. You need to play a little bit more patient, a little bit more together, at least find the refrags, and then you'll be able to clear it. And if you know that they're going to be roaming as heavy as that, maybe a direct push through bunker or something like that would be the better play. But they are the players at the end of the day. We are just the casters. We don't know the behind the scenes and what's happening at all times. But I think they're just not playing the way that they want to, and that's why they want to take this time out to sort of gather their thoughts and work out. They have their coach playing with them, so it might be the make or break. Sali definitely is a good coach, but who takes up the IGLing when he's in there? Like, I don't know what happens, but it's definitely tough. They are playing with somebody that they're not used to playing with, so I think that could be a contributing factor. But at the same time, they're just allowing Naughty Sausages to sort of walk at them, and you can't be allowing a team like that to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You cannot be allowing a team to just get as much pressure as they have been doing. They have been running rampant on Trident, especially in the last 2 rounds that we have seen. And I mean, as we've said, KJ, this shows the mechanical difference and the pressure that Naughty Sausages loves to bring. Now, Trident, obviously, they had the timeout. They have the time to mentally change the way that they're playing. They have the time to think about a different sort of play style, maybe play a bit further out, wait for a bit of movement to come in from Naughty Sausages. But I think what you'll find is a lot of the time, Naughty Sausages, once they lose one of their players through a spawn peek, through a attempted pressure type play, it's not really going to be pushed as far and as hard as they possibly can. They start to slow down on their playstyle slightly. They start to give a bit of time before they make any sort of movement. Now, we can already see right away, Trident, they're looking to get a little bit more aggressive. So they may have actually chosen to play a little bit quicker Or maybe even just take that little bit more time to just clear up every single angle before they start making their push up into these certain areas. Straight away, we're going to see this pressure upstairs into attic and downstairs into meeting. And this is where it will start to get interesting, KJ. They've now had the talk. They've now had the time. What does Trident want to show us?
Yeah, well, they do have that sort of setup with those air jabs, but they have the Solus that has spotted it out, so they know the positioning of those air jabs, and they know how to get rid of it. But Hills, he's playing aggressive in this greenhorn. He's not actually affected by the air jab right now, so if somebody's going to peek down that hall, he's going to be able to get a pick for free, or at least be a surprise at the very least. But Captain Oz, I don't know where he got that kill, but he got a shotgun kill in garage, and Sally does return back onto Hills, so it's not all over. They are in that 4v3. They are in the man advantage, but Life, he's playing this cheeky corner on stage. If they don't spot him out, this could be detrimental if they push in here for a plant. But I'm hoping that Sally spots him out, and I think he does with the droning there as it comes through Greenhole. He is aware. He's gotten off the drone. Life is going to be forced to sort of rotate behind these couches, but he shoots Taz, and now we're down to a 3v3 as we approach the minute mark. And Tiaki, it's not looking good for Trident right now. They're sort of stalling out, but Pew, he's going to walk into the site. Warden is unaware, but he switches at the right time, and Pew gets taken off the board, and all of a sudden, what looked like a good play from Pew is now the deciding factor in something that may be the end of the round. Basali, he takes out Life, but he does have to switch to the pistol. He almost loses the gunfight with the Ryan here, but it's not all over. 35 seconds on the board. They're going to get the plant down or find these picks rather shortly. Otherwise, this will be the round done. Dustin and Naughty Sausages find that match point. Tiaki.
Sally's dropped. He's dropped downstairs. He needs to get to the back stairs. They don't have control of this meeting anymore. And you can already see from Naughty, they've started to take control. They've realized this. No player is inside of meeting with 13 seconds remaining on the board. They need to start pushing their players in. But already Captain Oz, he's in the position. That's diffuser down. 1 HP on Sweat. Needs to make the peak. I think we're going to match point, KJ!
Oh, no.
As Naughty, with Captain Oz's help, and you can see it from him. The excitement, the happiness from him as he's able to confirm the kill with a shotgun from a distance. Naughty Sausages, incredible play there in the last 30 seconds, and huge misplays coming in from the side of Trident. That kill, Pew's kill there, if Pew had been able to remove that player, it would have been so easy to just start running through into meeting, getting control of that. And unfortunately, just not able to clean it up. Yo, It's Life gets an amazing kill, allowing his team to push it into match point. I'm almost lost for words in the way that these two teams have been playing. It's coming down to small, very small mistakes in this playstyle and in these teams' actions when they are making their push. But right now, Naughty Sausages, they're on the match point round. They are ready. They are revving to put this in as their first map. And
5 seconds left.
this game's been amazing, KJ. I just can't say more than that.
Yeah, it was sort of close in that first half, but now that Naughty Sausages are on the defense, they just can't find an attacking round, and they just feel disconnected. I don't know if that's just Zebi isn't here. They have that missing link, or if it's just, another contributing factor. Maybe they're just not used to this playstyle from Naughty Sausages, but it's just not looking good. Now they're forced to win 3 rounds in a row if they want to stay in this map. Otherwise, we'll have to go to map 2, and they'll have to make the comeback once again like they did yesterday. But that means that we'd have to go to map 3 if they want to win it all. But we're still in this map. It's still doable. There's still things to happen. But when you have Captain Oz on this pulse just feeding all this intel, it almost feels impossible.
Well, Shiri will start to gain control of this little tower. or small tower as it's normally called, as Orion will be the man in position to try and counter it. Sweat's drone will come through. They'll be able to figure out his position, so he'll need to run far away as quick as possible, as he will get cut off from every angle. So big misplay by Naughty Sausages there, as they will lose Orion straight off the back. It's not a huge problem. It just means that they've lost one of their roamers and one of their main players. Yacht's Life will be in the position as once again the man that seems to always trade it back up is Harry M. He'll find one and fall off his angle. Correction, Yacht's Life will be the one falling off of his angle. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. Trident still not having full control so far of the map as far as they were looking for. Yacht's Life will not go into a 1v1 situation. He'll just fall back into sight. They can now delay so much time. I mean, there's not much left here. 60 seconds remaining on the board, KJ. Are we going to finish it in this round?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it could be the case, but there's still 4 players on either side up, but there's 50 seconds left, and Trident, they haven't got all that much control, and when you're letting Harry do jump outs like that, how are you going to do it? But Sweat, he finds the trade back. Sali was planting in a double window, so Captain Oz finds him. And now we're down to a 2v3 for them. Make that a 3v1 as Hills finds Sweat, and he's not able to connect it on the bottom right. And that's it. That's the map 1, and it goes to Naughty Sausages.
And huge ups to Naughty Sausages. So well played from them. They played exceptionally well in their positions. You cannot let Captain Oz have his pulse. I'm going to say that right now. That needs to be a permaban from their team. However, in this situation, it is all down to the way that they have played in this previous round. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They knew the people that they needed to find. They knew the positions that these players were operating on. And as we can see from them, it just felt like Trident, they weren't able to secure what they were looking for within this round. And I don't know what else to say about it, KJ. It was such a good match to see. Both of these teams played exceptionally well. Trident just getting on the back foot once they got onto their attacking half. And it just shows how well that Naughty Sausages can play. If you give them a bone, if you give them the ability to make movements, they will absolutely just dominate and roll over. And you cannot let that happen, unfortunately.
No, you definitely can't. And, different sort of result tonight compared to last night's result, and I think that's just the different play style that they have to come up against. Nutty, they were a little bit more structured and not as frag heavy as Naughty Sausages, and Naughty Sausages, they're just showing up today. They're hitting their shot, they're playing well off each other, finding those opening picks as well. And I think it's just too much for Trident to deal with. And I think going into map 2, they need to realize that, and they need to shut it down. And if you can isolate those players of Naughty Sausages that are making those hero sort of plays, then you can definitely win some rounds and make it a little bit easier to win those rounds with that man advantage. But we go to Club, as Oregon has been done and dusted. 7-3 victory for Naughty Sausages. But Club, that's Trident's pick. Obviously, Oregon, that was Naughty Sausage's pick. And you did say that you'd think that Club would be Naughty Sausage's pick. So maybe this second map works in their favor as well. But who knows? Who knows? But I think if we do go to that third map, that Villa, that definitely favors the play style of Naughty Sausages a lot more than it does Trident. So it's looking rough. But it definitely is doable. And I think we are about to see it all unfold. But before we go to a quick break, any last words, Tiaki?
Well, we've seen two amazing teams go up against each other on Oregon. The question is, how will they go up against each other on Clubhouse? Make sure you stay very tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because we will be back very, very soon for the amazing map of Clubhouse where these two teams fight. Trident will attempt to stay in this series, and good old Naughty Sausages will attempt to end the series as quick as possible. We'll see you guys very soon, and see you very soon. I already said it. There you go.
You already said it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Nova tournament as we continue on the rampage. Naughty Sausages up against Trident ESC, and we are in the lower brackets round number 2. So it will be a very interesting series and game so far that we have seen and will continue to be as we take our eyes over to the amazing map of Clubhouse. Obviously, Naughty Sausages, this is not their map pick. Oregon being their map pick, they won 7-3, so they were able to do really well there and were able to successfully get the map pick that they were looking for. Now for Club. This is a map that I have seen Naughty Sausages play on. I haven't seen much of Trident play on. KJ, I'm not sure if that's different with you, but last time I saw a team play on this was Naughty Sausages, and they were scary on this map. This is obviously the ranked map that they have played the most. They understand how to play on it. So I'll leave it to you in terms of how they will approach, how Trident will approach it, because I just haven't seen them on this map.
I think that Trident, they've played this map 3 times. I think they've won it 2 out of 3 times, whereas or maybe it was 5. But I think for Naughty Sausages, it's a little bit more of a 50-50 map. I think it all depends on the way that they sort of go and it not being their map pick. But you said that they're a little bit of a demon, so I think it all comes down to Trident and the way that they play on the day. And so far, they're struggling a little bit. And hopefully on a pick, we can see a little bit of a rival sort of series again. And but instead of them winning each other's map picks, it's them winning their own respective map pick. And let's hope that Trident, they're feeling themselves in this Clubhouse. They did play it yesterday. They did win this map yesterday. They lost Oregon as well yesterday. So maybe back to the drawing board for that map for them. But with Clubhouse, they won it. They won it 8-7, so not as comfortably as you'd like, but definitely something that they can go off and give themselves hope. So will we see it?
Well, it will definitely be very interesting. Now, obviously, with the way that they played last game, let's have a quick chat about that because we've obviously got a few people to mention and obviously got a few players that have just been playing absolutely exceptionally so far. I mean, you talk about Captain Oz. We talked about him at the beginning. We've hyped him up for this entire series. He's been an amazing player whenever we've seen him play. He's a scary player at that, especially when you give him the operator or a pulse. And I'm not sure if it's the best idea for Trident to accept or even provide him the opportunity of bringing out Pulse again. It is just such a scary operator with him. And you could see that with Oregon. He dropped 11 kills. On the opposite end, Hills, he was able to drop 12. Absolutely
Crazy.
Insane by both of them too. Now, when we say that, obviously we're showing love to the team that won. They deserve that, and we have to show respect to them because they won that map. Let's not count out Trident here. Papa Taz won a lot of those rounds for Trident. 7 kills for him on his side, and Pew as well coming in with 7 kills as well. Not the most amount of kills that we've seen from a lot of these members on their teams. We normally see a bit more movement, a bit more, I guess, play style really coming from them, and mechanical skill coming from them. Regardless, with that setup, 7-7 for both of those two teammates, and being the top of their scoreline and being the main members that they were looking towards, it doesn't feel like there was a lot of movement after that defensive half. They just seemed to slow down. Now, with Oregon, as you said, it was good to see that they were able to get control of those those basement sites. If they couldn't get control of those basement sites, they were going to be in a lot of trouble for a very long period of time. It ended up being that they couldn't control the top sites, and I think that's just because of the playstyle that Naughty Sausages bring. They have the control for those top sites. What do you think about that Oregon map that we saw?
I think it was rough to watch for Trident. They did pretty well to make it even at that first half, but after that, it all sort of fell apart, and they didn't have the same grip that they did in the first half. They'd lost the sort of map entirely on that attack. It looked like, they knew what they wanted to do, but they just didn't know how they wanted to execute it. And I don't know whether that's because they're missing that player like we talked about, or if it was just another contributing factor. So I think the fact that they, were a little bit scared, as you mentioned, to sort of enter the build and take those gunfights, maybe that's just something, when you're missing that player, maybe they're the ones that take the gunfights for you, or at least kick things off for you to be more confident. So I think going into map 2, they need to sort of have that confidence again. Take those gunfights. Don't be scared. Naughty Sausages, they have the aggression, but, you can bring it back to them. And I think if they match that level of aggression, they can definitely win this map and keep this series going. But it's whether they have that in them, or if they're going to fall short, and if they're going to let that get to them and sort of bring them down going into this next map. But I think it's definitely going to be a good one. I love a little bit of Clubhouse. Definitely a staple of Siege. But yeah, I guess it all depends on what is going to occur. But what do you reckon the operator bans will be when we finally get onto this map?
Well, when we're looking at the operator bans, you'd expect it's quite a consensus from basically everyone that plays the game on what the operator bans are for this map. The most common one that we see is the Habana. Everyone, all my homies, as they say, hate the Habana. Just the amount of usage and the amount of utility that she brings to remove those hatches for that bottom floor hold, it's just so annoying. So a lot of teams like to ban her off nice and early. The other ban that they bring through is normally the Kaid. Kaid being able to get those hatches so easily, just so annoying, just such a pressure. It's how do I explain it? It is just annoying. Let's just call it annoying, KJ, to be honest. And then obviously Solus coming in would be a definite one that's been banned on so many maps. However, I think instead of the Solus, we might end up seeing maybe a pulse ban, especially for that Captain Oz. But the other attacking ban, I have no clue. It can be anything. It could be a Thatcher. It could be a Maverick. There's a variety of bans it could be.
Yeah, there's so many options on a map like this. It really depends on who you want to, if you want to target anyone like they did last game. But Doe could be going to be the first ban, and we've seen that a lot these last couple seasons. The global utility operators, or the ones that have access to those, direct EMPs, those pocket EMPs, is definitely sort of viable. So, Lion and Dokkaebi, they both have it. Why not ban one of them? A little bit easy to roam, but Habana, such a strong ban on a map like this, able to make those hashes that little bit safer on that basement side. So her off the board, you're going to have to sort of impact trick and really utilize that. But they didn't really utilize that Trident playing it yesterday as much as I would like. But there we go. There's that pulse ban being off the board this time, and that's going to force Captain Oz. They do start out on that defense, so that's going to force him to play something else. So he's going to be a little bit, fired up after that one. You can see in his webcam that he's a little bit taken back, but now he's going to take the gunfight to them in another manner. So Mirror going to be the last one, and that's all our bans finalized. So nothing too crazy towards the end there, but that pulse one being the real kicker to Naughty Sausages.
Well, round 1 to come onto the board, and Naughty Sausages immediately picking up onto that basement church, basement arsenal. So now that the pulse is gone, this is where it starts to get interesting. This is where a lot of questions will start to be put up and around. Obviously, the mute coming in for Captain Oz. He's going back to the operators that you don't normally see. And with a 5v5 situation, it is going to be tough for Trident to really get into this map. It's a tough push. It's a tough playstyle for a lot of these teams to sort of push this downstairs. But with the experience that they have playing this in ranked, it won't be too difficult. It won't be too hard to understand exactly what they need to do, the positions that they need to play. Obviously, players will be playing off-site, and surprisingly, they're going to be bringing quite an uncommon operator that we see in any competitive game. The Echo is going to be brought in by Orion, and as we said about that Kaid, it will be brought into play, so that means immediately that Kaid will be able to cut off into motor, and that will completely shut down that hatch. So unless they have a Maverick, they will not be able to open it up, and it doesn't look like, or correction, a Thatcher, my apologies, because Thatcher is unbanned. They will be able to open that up.
They definitely will be, and they do have those can openers on both the Buck and the Fuse if, you know, Ace is to fall, or if they lack sort of options to open it. They have those secondary gadgets, which is always handy to have, and you know, Buck able to do a lot of vertical as well, so just a good op all round on a map like Clubhouse to have a Buck. And having that Fuse, I wonder how they're going to utilize that. Probably onto Kitchen, you can definitely do some damage with that. They're going to be careful on this drone, you know, with these drones, as Mozzie is in play. If you get that caught, you're gonna have that intel for the defending side. But Captain Oz to open up the round, he's gonna shut down that operator that I was saying is so vital to a map like this. And he is refragged though. Taz to find it, and that's just Captain Oz being a little bit antsy, wanting to find another pick, getting a little bit greedy. But you know, 4v4, almost halfway into the round, and that's not too bad of a position for the defense. They still have these players on this top floor being droned out, but they've got to fall off sooner or later. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves being collapsed upon. Unless Hills can hold his own, he's going to open up a rotate for him to play with. But he's able to find the head of Shu with a nice little shot there, and that's going to shut down Yoyana. That's nades off the board, and they're a little bit panicked. They're sort of don't know what to do, and Hills finds his second. And it's just falling apart already. They're not able to find these players that are just playing so aggressive. But Taz, he's holding out. He's waiting for them to push into him, and it's left to the Fuse and the Ace. The AK players, can they do it?
Naughty Sausages is riding the momentum incredibly well. Papa Taz will be able to take out the Echo drone. Not too difficult to take that out, as Hills will start to make his way up. He's going to look for whatever more he can find. He's already on a double kills. Yo, it's life will find another. It's down to one. Pew, he's got to find three. He's been able to figure out one's position. We'll be able to find the second here, so now he can look to open up downstairs. Naughty Sausages need to be a little bit careful with the way that their players are playing, because of the fact that if they leave him open to make the movement that he can make, he's going to be such a threat. He'll be able to find third. And right now, we're back to a one-on-one. Plant is going to be attempted. Orion's going to be hiding, and he can use his drones if he decides to. 4 seconds remaining. Pew's going to jump off. Correction, Pew's going to jump off his diffuser, and that should be it. It will be spotted out. Orion's going to end it for Naughty Sausages. But you've got to give it to Trident. Pew, well in control of that round. And it looked like Naughty, they were just getting a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, I think for Trident, they're just not expecting it still after a map's gone by. And, you know, Clubhouse, it doesn't play all that different to Oregon. Both very similar in the way that you play it. And with a team like Naughty Sausages, they're just going to bring the fight to you. I've said it time and time again that they want to take that fight. They want to swing everything. They want to get that opening pick. They want to get more picks after that opening pick. And you could see Captain Oz getting a little bit greedy with that in round one. So they're just going to continue to do this. And Trident, they need to have it on lock. They need to have it, you know, be aware of it and sort of stop it from coming to fruition. And they're just not letting it. They're not stopping it in its tracks. They're just letting it happen. And I think if they don't stop it now, or they don't stop it soon, Naughty Sausages is going to be in the lead too much with the rounds. And this is going to be their map again. And that's going to be GG for the series. And they're going to be careful of that. There's still early days for this map too. But Trident already looking a little bit worrisome.
Well, we're starting to see the teams that can really play around their teammates when it is necessary. I mean, as we can see straight off the bat. Oh, Lord, no. Harry, you can't do it to them, man. He finds a kill on possibly the most impactful player for the side of Trident. No, it is the most impactful player. Sal
Thatcher
is going to be taken off the board. The Thatcher removed. Hard breaches. They have 2 of them. And they are not able to find the kill. Taz will find the first counter pick. It will be onto Yowit's life, but still, it's not as big as a pick onto Sal. Unfortunately, 2 minutes will remain onto the board, and now they can look to set up a lot of these bandit charges just to completely shut down any push on to these walls. Taz is able to find a second, and it will help them, but Hills will trade it back on to Sweats. That's going to be the Iana taken off the board. 3 members still remaining for the side of Trident. Captain Oz will remove the Claymore there as a minute and 40 seconds starts to tick down on the board. Pew will realize he's not able to open up that hatch, so they will need to look at maybe making a push from this construction side, at which stage it's immediately going to be cut off. Pew's able to find one onto Hills. Pretty big pick there, as Shuri will be able to take down... Harry will be able to take down Shuri, as now there is 2v2 and a minute and 10 seconds remain, KJ. It starts to get a bit fun.
It does, and they're just going to have to go for these ballsy sort of plays, and Pew, he's just going to push right into the site. Taz to find his triple, and that'll be Harry M shut down. Now it's all left to Captain Oz. He throws the C4 on through, does no damage, has no effect. And he has to push through this fuse door, but can he do it? They've got the cross from Taz. He's got the plant going down, but he's just baiting it out. And Pew, they come from nothing. They lose their Thatcher, but they don't lose the round, Tiaki. They find it, and they are still in this game. They're still in this map, and that's round 2. They tied up 1-1, but we've had this instance before where the first half, it's so close, and then the second half, it's a complete dominant performance. But this time, Trident, they're on the flip side. They're on that attack this time to kick things off, and maybe it'll be a different story on map 2 here, Tiaki, but Trident, they're keeping themselves in this.
Well, something that we didn't see. Something that we didn't expect for that round. You lose such an impactful player on that round. It is very difficult to make the turnaround, and you can see even with the threats, even with how scary it can be for Naughty Sausages and how scary it can be for Trident, when you have a man like Papa Taz, you always need to be ready, because next minute he could pop off and absolutely dominate your team. Now, the interesting thing is he's decided to make a bit of a switch up. He prefers the Thermite over the Ace, and it looks like that spawn peak will no longer be available for the side of Naughty Sausages. So they will not be trying to go for that spawn peak, and instead be trying to lock down this site. They want to win as many defensive rounds as possible, and you can immediately see a bit of a switch up coming in for the side of Trident. They don't want Sal to be picked off the board too quickly, so he's going to be spawning at a completely different position in comparison to the way that they were positioned before. So now they can look to get this main wall opened up. There's going to be no wall denial besides a mute charge. That's going to be easily removed, as they will be able to open up this wall quite quickly, and almost being able to spot someone out. There is going to be Hills. He'll be able to take out with the Claymore. However, he will be able to take out the, I believe that was the ace charge on the wall, as Captain Oz, he's able to find one immediately and will pick up Shuri. So Trident on the back foot once again.
Yeah, Naughty Sausages are just so good at finding this opening pick, and especially Captain Oz. He just likes to prod and poke the bear, essentially. And Harry M, he also likes to find these picks when he can, and he's able to shut down Taz Thermite off the board. But you still have Ace in play. You're still able to open up some avenues for your team, but that's the last Selma charge to go out. And they have this main bridge open, but it's not enough to work with. They need to get this garage control, or they need to switch things up here as the round progresses. But a minute 30 left, so halfway through the round now, and it's just not looking good. They've got to find 5 bodies to eliminate, and Hills, he's in stock here. He's looking to get aggressive, and I don't know if Trident are aware of his position, and if they are, They got to do something about it. You need to find these solo engagements on these isolated players to try and even up things.
Well, the search will begin to come through. Sal's looking to see if he can find one, and it will be connected. Hills will be taken off the board. Sweat will look to see if he can spot onto Captain Oz on the opposite side of the map. Hughes able to find one onto Yort's life, and everything is going to hell for Naughty Sausages at the moment, as they've got 3 players all locked down on site. It's still a 3-on-3 situation, at least for now, as Pew, he's looking to try and see if he can spot someone out. Will make the run across, so he is saved by that. Sweat will put a little bit of damage in. He still has the nades available, so can choose to go underneath. But it looks like that will not be the play, as Sal is just going to be waiting on the outside. And with the amount of utility available, you expect them to start using such, as the nade will come through, but Orion's able to confirm the kill. 10 seconds remain. Pew's going to be able to jump straight in. He'll find one. Needs to get the plant down. The peaks will come in left and right. It's still 2 players on the site. Peak will come through. Orion's able to find Pew, but Captain Oz, he'll find one onto Sal. And Trident will not be able to pick up that round, as Naughty Sausages will confirm a second round for themselves. Oh, I was losing it for a second there.
Yes, it's absolutely chaotic here, so I don't blame you for that. But just, I don't know what the thought process from Trident was there. Sali, he was down below. He was expecting someone to maybe throw a nitro cell from below and stop that plan from going down. But they should have had some sort of intel or a drone at least to call that for them. And then they could have maybe gone for a plan and held from the breach. That would have been the smarter option. But they were sort of, you know, caught out for time, and they had to go for those picks when they didn't know, and Sally's position was downstairs. So it was just a bit of a play that they had to go for, but it just didn't work out for them. And now Naughty Sausages, they find this round 3, and now we're going to round 4, and they're back down to this basement site. So things have gone all around, and they have access to this site because 3 rounds have been played now. And I think for Trident, if they're going into this next round, they just need to be careful of these engagements. We've seen them just swing. Just hold a little bit. They played a little bit smarter in that round when they were expecting the spawn peaks, but this is what I'm talking about. Hills already trying to have an impact on the round, running right out into the open there, but not finding anyone just yet. Trident playing that little bit safer, and that's what we want to see from them. They need to play it safer.
Hills getting a little bit aggressive on the push there, really trying to be a bit of an annoyance, really, for the side of Trident. Captain Oz comes in once again. Not only does he take 3 drones off the board, he'll take a player as well, as Shuri will be removed. I believe he was droning in towards Garage and was just caught, as it looks like Captain Oz opened up the wall and ran straight out to try and find that player. Taz is going to start sending in a bit of utility. The good old fuse charges coming in there, trying to see if he can spot anything on the floor, as they'll look to try and open up this hatch in that position. It will be successfully opened, as now Sweat looking to see if he can spot someone on the opposite angle. They're putting a lot of players in this position to sort of push for this kitchen hatch, as it looks like Sal will actually choose to fall back with the shield. It's not going to be in a very big position to make any sort of plays, so it's not going to be significant enough just yet. The Hills will send out a Nitro Cell trying to see if he can find any sort of kills on the close angle, but will not be able to find any just yet. Almost getting caught there. Sal will be inside of tunnel. Needs to be careful about this next minute and 20 seconds.
Oh, but a nice shot from Sweat with the backup from Sali, giving that info. But Taz, he's going to fall down, I do believe, to Captain Oz here on the roam in Logi. But Orion to find Sweat, and now there's 2 players down. It's all left to Sali as Hills cleans and confirms those kills. And it's all falling apart for this basement site. Trident, they look like they know what they want to do, but they're just not able to win the gunfights, not able to win any of these engagements. And another round goes to Naughty Sausages, and it's just not looking like a dominant performance. It is their map pick, and it just doesn't look like they have that confidence that it is their map pick. It is something that they're confident on. And it's spiraling out of control right now, Tiaki. I don't know if they can band together to clutch it out once again. I don't know if they have it in them. It just looks like there's frowns all round. But we have that intel from Sali yesterday. They said that they've been working on that mental game, and maybe, just maybe, they can find something out of nothing once again, like they did in the rounds prior, and bring it back.
Well, well, well. Naughty Sausages on Clubhouse. What do you expect? These two teams have played exceptionally well in their maps so far, but when you take Naughty to a map that they have played so significantly, it is so hard to beat them on, and it depends on what they do and what they really the playstyle that they take. So for now, round number 5 to come onto the board. Naughty Sausages 3 rounds up, Trident with 1 round, and Trident really need to make a bit of a movement change. They have found the kills that they need to during these rounds, but they really haven't been able to convert and make any sort of push, any sort of plays coming in for Trident, as looks like Shuri will be able to spot one out on that catwalk, but will not convert on it just yet. Still 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this round, so a lot of time, but the Spawn Peak is going into play. It's Yort's life. He's waiting to see if he can try and make some sort of play here, but it looks like no one's going to really be providing him with that aggression, and so it won't really lead to too much. This is an upstairs take, so there's a lot of movement available for the side of Trident, as they will get a lot of these windows opened up. Sweat missing for the second time. Will he get a the third? No! Try again, my friend. Nade. He's just going to nade it out.
I think he's trying to bait it.
Oh, here comes the kills. Orion's able to pick up Shuri. Shuri's able to pick up Captain Oz on the opposite end, as more players will start to move in. Orion's going to go back and forth with these players, but obviously Sweat still being outside can be a massive threat. Yort's life is going to look to make his way up. Doesn't really need to make any sort of plays just yet. He's already used his Nitro Cell, as Hills will make his way upstairs and set out a Nitro Cell as well. The question is, will it go off?
Yeah, they're lurking down below, and if Sali hasn't droned down here, they're not going to be aware that Hills is playing here. He knows that somebody's about to walk through the door. They're unaware, and Hills runs ahead of Taz. And once again, they find the man advantage, and Trident have to work it back. They're on the back foot once again. Can they find the picks here on the side, or are they going to deal with their own? It looks like they're trying to open up these walls, try and open up these angles to find these picks. Pew to kick it off though onto Life, but there is the castle in Jim. He finds the head though. Nice shot from Pew, and now it sways back in the favor of Trident. Now Hills and Harry, they are full HP. Harry does have the C4 in hand. Hills does not, but he is down here for the Jim jump in, but I don't think they actually droned him out here. And if they don't drone him out, this could be deadly. This could be the deciding factor of it swinging in Naughty Sausage's way once again. But I think the drone peeking there, they do know now. So he is forced to rotate, and well played from Trident to figure that out. Now Sally's going to jump in now that they've got the call that he ran away. And the plant's going to be going down very, very shortly. So it's all left to Harry's C4, but he gets shot in the process, and Sweat there to cover. Well played from Trident. They finally find the response that they need. And that is what we like to see coming out from Trident. They find it on Jim. We go to round 6. Can they even up things in this first half? Or is Naughty Sausages going to find that 4th round and end the split 4-2?
And I mean, that's how you need to look at it, right? That's the play style that we need to be seeing coming from Trident. If they're not able to play like that up against this team of Naughty Sausages, they will not be able to convert it into these rounds. Right now, it is a 3-2. It is still available for Trident to push this back to a 3-on-3. It just depends on the plays that they make and the way that they attempt to set themselves up. Right now, we saw Pew and Sweat absolutely dominating that round. They don't want to be counted out of this series just yet, but we need to see a lot more, not just from them, but from their team as a entire hole. Shuri is 1 in 5 at the moment. He is supposed to be their entry fragger. He's the person supposed to be finding those easy picks and those kills for their team. He's not able to find anything today, and it just keeps getting cut off, unfortunately. Naughty Sausages being the ones to just clean it up, and I think it's that match of aggression that is just coming through from both of these two teams. Now obviously Trident will start to make their move up. Shuri will be there and available for his team, so he may choose to play back, maybe change the playstyle, because when Trident likes to slow down their playstyle, they start seeing the mistakes that Naughty are making. When you're such an aggressive team, you're gonna want to push for these picks. You're gonna want to find all the angles that you can, try and take out as many people as you can within the round, and it's just something that you like to really do as an aggressive sort of playstyle. That can easily be stopped by a team that slows down, holds angles, plays off of the timer, and it just depends on the way that Trident looks to make this push up against Naughty.
It really does, and I think, you know, it's sort of tough. You know, Naughty Sausages, they can afford to make the mistakes. They can go to that third map, but if Trident, they make the mistakes here, this is their last map. So, and these are the mistakes I'm talking about. Orion able to find Taz. That's your thermite off the board. Obviously, he did open up that garage, so he isn't, you know, completely to waste, but Sweat, he almost finds the refrag there. Captain Oz peppered up a little bit, but not enough to finish him. He's on about 70 or 80 HP. He does trying to eliminate these drones. Nice shot from him onto Shuri and Stock, and it's just a 5v3 once again for Trident. I feel like they're in this situation time and time again, and they're just forced to try and clutch it, but make the odds even harder as Captain Oz finds a second onto Sali, and that's your Thatcher. It's all left to the Ace and the Ash. The double A's, can they work it? But no, triple for Captain Oz. He's just swinging. Tiaki, he's just swinging, and he's just finding these picks, and Trident are allowing it to happen. So hopefully it's a different story on the defense, but Sweat, he finds one, but he has to ace to make it work, and unfortunately that's too much to ask for, and Hills cleans him up. And we're off to the next second half.
And I mean, 4-2. That's the best that you could have expected from that as Trident. I mean, honestly, the best that you could have expected there would have been 3-3 in that situation. But 4-2, it does end up showing in that last bit of preparation and those last setups that it was just Naughty Sausages. They were able to play and lock down those sites, lock down that playstyle nice and easily, have that control that they were looking for. Now is where it starts to matter. Now is where Trident needs to start putting up their numbers and finding everything in their position and their playstyles. They need to be cutting down on every single angle and showing off these strats that they have been either holding on to or just playing differently with. Right now is where it matters, because if they cannot hold on here, they will end up losing this series. So Naughty Sausages, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to play to gain as much map control quick and early. Tell that to your roamers. Tell them to try and delay, find a pick if they can. As long as they find those picks, and as long as they delay as much time as possible, Naughty Sausages are going to rush. They're going to try to go mechanically and take off as much as they can, but it may end up costing them. So right now, if you're Trident, what I'd be saying to my team is, okay, we're on the back foot right now. We're not well set up. Let's work with our strategies. Let's find the angles. Let's find the kills. And that is not what you want to see to start it off, as Hills will be caught out.
Yeah, and, you know, Hills be caught out? No, Hills will catch Sweat out, and Papa Taz will also be caught out, as Harry, they're just dominating right now as they've switched to the attack. So this is their first go at attack, and they've already found 2 early picks within just under a minute. And this is the basement site. You can't be losing these engagements and not have an answer. There's no refrags, no damage really done apart from Orion. So this is not the position you want to be in if you're trying. If you let these rounds slip, like you mentioned, it's going to cost you in the long run. And right now, they're getting all these hatches open. They know that all the other players are on the side. They don't want to risk losing any picks, but This is Trident's playstyle. They know Naughty Sausages have this down pat. They know that they are the aggressive ones. They have the aggression title in this matchup, so they know that these guys are going to play it safe. But does Trident have it in them to hold it out?
Well, right now we can see they're trying to get this hatch open. Pew might actually get caught here if he doesn't realize that this player is playing. But Hills will be taken off the board, and that's a big pick coming in from him. That's the Maverick removed off the board. Sorry?
Life, he's here. He's in the long haul. He gets pepper damage, but Orion, he finds Sali. That's just all falling apart though, Tiaki. It's just back and forth.
Kills coming in left and right as Harry M will just show up. Double kill for him as he's able to air out the site. And if I were Trident right now, timeout. Take the timeout. You need to reorganize. You need to get the momentum reset. And you can see it right there. Well played. Good call. Take this timeout. Take the time to go over with your team. What is not working? What is not being cleared up? What angles are we not watching? And how are we losing players so early? How are we getting picked off so quickly? There are so many different reasons right now that they are losing these sites and these matches and these one-ups against these teams. It's not a big problem just yet, but it can be in the future. They need to be able to cut off these consistent site holds, and right now they're just struggling. Every single round that they have had so far and every single playstyle that they have had in this round has just been countered by the straight aggression that we've been seeing from Naughty Sausages. And Trident, they need to really pull something out here. The comeback needs to start from here. This is where it needs to come from. And we need to start seeing a different sort of playstyle from Trident. Or they could be out of this series, out of this tournament, within the second day of the lower bracket.
Yeah, that's the thing. And, you know, they've come this far. You don't want to lose after you just did an absolute performance the night prior. It'd just be devastating. You know, it's not all over. Naughty Sausages still have one round away before they meet that match point. And arguably, Trident, they're on the better end of the stick. They are on this defense. So they're able to play this time. They're able to run it down, and I hope that they can find this in round 8, and hopefully that timeout did wonders for the team's mental, and the team surely answered all the questions that they have right now, and hopefully they can continue to prosper. But it's a lot to ask for right now. 3 rounds behind. Do they have it in them, or will they fall short once again on map 2? But Captain Oz, he loves to get this control rather quickly. But Sweat, he's going to clean him up quickly. And that'll be the opening pick in Trident's favor. And that's what we like to see. That is what Trident need to start this train off.
I mean, even with the opening pick, we've seen the way that these rounds can go. It's a little bit back and forth. So that opening pick, yes, it is huge. Yes, it is a big player removed, but there are still a lot of members for the side of Trident. Correction, for the side of Naughty Sausages that can still cause an impact, and they need to be so incredibly careful of the playstyles, of the positions, of just the strategy that could come out from Naughty. And straight there, it's not a big problem, but you would prefer to still have a player bleeding off time upstairs. 5 players on site. It is an anchored site. It's not a bad idea. It's not the worst, but you still would prefer to have a player in that off-site position. Nitro Cell set out, and it will be sent off as Taz able to pick up Yo It's Life. And Naughty Sausages, this is what the momentum shift can do. They are not ready for this round. Shuri's going to be taken off the board. And KJ, Trident, they're on their way back.
They are, and they're on their way for a flawless. If they can keep this up, if they hold these positions, hold these crossfires, they can definitely get it, and I think that'll be the catalyst into winning these next few rounds and definitely bring up these hopes for them to continue to win more. But, you know, Hills and Harry definitely viable players to make it work, and this is what it happens when you give them the space to do so. Harry does find Taz, but Pewter traded out, and they've just got the crossfires. They've got it down packed. That timeout did absolute justice for them, and now they're on their way for the comeback, baby.
Now let's not scare this. Let's not scare it off, because we've been kind of scaring it a little bit. There's only a 2-round difference. It's not a big shift. 3 rounds get you OT. 4 rounds get you a win if you're Trident. Right now, Naughty Sausages, 1 round gets you OT. 2 rounds gets you the win of the series and the map, and that's it. Sorry, the map and the series. Other way around. So for now, Trident, they're going to be looking to try and run off this run off this comeback as much as possible. If they can find 3 rounds, they will be in the best position that they possibly could be. If they can find 4 in a row, they've won the map. So it just depends on the way that they play in these next few rounds. What we saw there was what we really had been needing to see from Trident. They were able to get that first pick. They slowed down the push. They used a lot of nitro cells in their placement. They won't really have as much of that option available to them on this site, as is a very, I call it a nadeable site. A site where a lot of teams prefer to go below, chuck nades up, and you can see that from the side of Naughty Sausages. They brought in 2 sets of grenades, so we're talking 4 grenades in total. They can choose to go down into storage underneath, just chuck the nades up, and start flooding into cache, flooding into that main wall. It just depends on what they decide to do. So already we're starting to see a bit of utility being used. That's going to be the Thatcher charge taken off the wall, and Orion, he's already lost 1 ace charge, but here we go.
Trident, they're tricking this wall though, and they're on this gym bedroom site, so I'd like to say for Naughty Sausages, it's not like they can just run it down like they have in the previous rounds. So it needs a little bit more thought and a little bit more structure, and you can see here it's sort of falling apart. They're impacting these ace charges. Their Azami keep barring it so that they don't have that angle, and they're forced to push in close and melee it off. And the ace charge is going to be impacted again, and now it's not a walkthrough. No more ace charges to come out, and that's their only form of hard breach, Tiaki. So now this is a real struggle street for Naughty Sausages. They have to funnel windows. They have to try and find any picks through these windows onto the side, and hopefully Harry can do so. He can utilize these nades, which Shuri is aware of. He's going to rotate a little bit back and not fall victim to that nade, but he's nading again. He's got to be careful if it happens, and there we go. It clears him up, and unfortunately for Shuri, not reading into that, he's going to nade twice.
Oh, and look at the play. Look at the play. Orion, he's already at the finish line. He's inside of sight. He can start looking to see if he can find some kills here. And he's trying to look on a Papataz. He'll find 1. This is all going to hell. Sweat's able to find Orion, but Yo It's Life is able to find PU. In a matter of seconds, this rail's been turned round as Trident are losing everyone. Sweat needs to find 3. He knows the position that they are all making their move from. Diffuser is still dropped outside, but he will go for the peak, and as quickly as a round was looking Trident's perfectly, Naughty Sausages say, hold on a second, we've still got the control, we can play around with this, we can get what we need from this round, and we will turn it around on you.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Trident, that's Naughty Sausages finding that match point, so they have to go to overtime to win this map and to win this series, otherwise this is the end. So unfortunate for Trident, they were able to deny that breach from opening that jacuzzi breach. No more hard breach available to them. But for some reason, they just were playing these aggressive angles or allowing them to be picked off, like that nade from onto Shuri. Like, they know that they're getting naded from there. Maybe change your position. Don't go back to that position, as he still has that nade in hand. And they're going to give this side another go. I think that's a good idea. You know, it wasn't all lost. You did well to deny the breach, but they're going to be more aware of it this time. They're going to bring things to deal with that, and we'll see how it goes. But Captain Oz, he's on this blitz, and you can see that They've got this Thatcher as well, so I don't know how this is going to go for Trident. They need to be able to hold this push off. Otherwise, it's all over. It's game over.
Well, 6-3 match point round, series point round, as Captain Oz decides he's going to have a little bit of fun jumping on to this blitz, as we will start to see it available and in play, as he will make a slow move towards the push, really, towards looking for that player maybe inside of storage or inside of blue. Looks like he's going to open up straight into garage and maybe make a push from that angle, as Hills will make his way in, and we will start to see a bit of movement being played. No nades being put up above, as it will not be able to identify Shuri's position just yet. Orion able to open up this window slit just a little bit, so he won't be able to find any angles onto Shuri just sitting there, and the Azami charge will be put into play. So now the back and forths will start to go through. Shot getting very close onto Orion's head, as members from the rest of Naughty Sausages will look to present themselves on the opposite side of the map and just be a bit annoying. Orion going back and forth will now decide to open it up, as we'll see Captain Oz. He's looking to make the jump over. Thinks that there's possibly a frost mat on the jump.
Yeah, he doesn't want to risk that engagement and sweat. He's going to open up the round, though, and he's going to shut down Hills, which is definitely a prominent fragger for this side. And I think Sledge being off the board, potential nades, which is what hurt the side of Trident last time and sort of kicked things off, definitely going to help. But, finding a double and finding Captain Oz at the very least, the blitz, is definitely going to help you have this round in the bag. But we've seen them be in this position before and then completely lose it. But Shuri, he's got a good position on the window. Unfortunately, not enough bullets to connect and finish him off. But Harry is quite low. He's got to sort of decide what sort of engagements he wants to take, if he wants to take them safely. Otherwise, he will fall as well. But just under a minute now on the clock, and they're forced to push through this jacuzzi breach. It is open this time, though, Tiaki, so they have that avenue to go through. And I think with the time ticking, if try and play their cards right, this will be another one in the bag. But we've seen this situation. Can they do it? Can they hold it out?
Well, Pew holding so very close, waiting for the push to come in on this player sitting just outside of jacuzzi. Orion will be able to find one. Papa Taz able to confirm it back. Shuri's able to find one on to Yoet's life. That's diffuser down. Harry M is the last member remaining. Trident said so, as Harry's able to find one onto Pew. So that is the round being so ever closely, making it a little bit closer, right? 10 seconds. He's got to find 3. Will not pre-fire that wall. The quick plays will go through. He's just searching for kills. Papa Taz will bring out the shotgun, find the kill. But that teabag, I don't think it was necessary.
That could be the real nail in the coffin, though. It either is going to ensure that you get into this overtime and give you the confidence you need and maybe get to the heads of Naughty Sausages. Otherwise, it may be your downfall. It may be the thing that Naughty Sausages sort of band together to motivate to really shut you down and prove you wrong and make you regret that teabag. But they're going to take a timeout. They have lost only one round since the half. But, that's a good decision. You don't want to lose too many rounds. You want to sort of talk things out and see what you can do going forward. You have 2 rounds to work with. But you don't want to let Trident win one more round. Otherwise, it's going to be looking a little bit scary. And I think, Trident, they're going to have some momentum now. We've seen in this second half that they've been able to win 2, but it's been back and forth. So they're going to be careful with that.
Yeah, well, as I said, you're giving them 2 more you only got 2 more opportunities. Not even really. This round, what am I saying? Yes, you're giving them 2 more opportunities to put it into an OT, at which point, if you're too cautious about it, you could end up losing that OT, going into a 3rd map, and then losing that 3rd map. It is not what a lot of teams want to do. It is not what a lot of teams love to play and see. And Trident will finally get this map as this site as an option once again. Downstairs basement, the site that was their first first sort of win, first sort of easy play style that they were looking for, and they ended up winning it quite quickly within this round. And we can already see Sweat. He's looking to be a little bit of a threat for the side of Trident, just trying to be a little bit of an annoyance, a pain in the backside for Naughty Sausages, as we will now start to see a lot of movement coming into play. Sweat just sitting there ready to go, trying to see if he can find someone on that spawn peak, as 3 members from the side of Naughty Sausages will spawn out towards this eastern side of the map. Captain Oz will start making his way upstairs. So, looks like we're going to be seeing a top floor down clearance, as they will look to try and clue up this round, try and see if they can find those players sitting up there, but it doesn't look like anyone from Trident is really going to be in that position. It's Life will play underneath, and you can immediately see Captain Oz. He will take the jump down and start pushing on this aggression. They want to cut off any person trying to make a rotation here. Live drones will come through, but that is the kill that you want for Trident. Sweat able to find a kill on the Harry M, the man that has been absolutely top fragging so far for Naughty Sausages, as now they can just fall back to site and initiate this bunker hold.
They definitely can, but you know what I've noticed, Chiaki, is that Sweat, he actually has his bulletproof in hand. He hasn't actually placed it down yet, so I wonder if he's going to utilize that, because it's definitely going to help you with your team. You have a lot of intel with these Valk cams, but, you know, why not have it bulletproof? It's just another thing for Naughty Sausages to clear and more intel to give to your team when you need it. But, you know, eliminating that IQ off the board is going to help you have those Valkyrie cams stay intact and feed your defenders that intel. So hopefully with those C4s that they have access to, I think there's only one left on the side of Shuri. They can maybe find another pick here, but they've also got Fuse doing lots of damage onto the side as well, so they're going to be careful of those cluster grenades that have been raining on through. But C4 to go out, and that'll do some damage, but not enough to take out the buck, and that would have been a very, very good pick and limit the amount of vert that they can get, as you have to rely on life to place those breach charges. But the time is ticking, Tiaki. Almost 1 minute left on the clock, and they still have to open up these hatches and figure out where these players are playing so that they can start to execute this on the side. And you can see here, they're just, I think with Trident, they just up the aggression, and this is what we like to see.
Well, they're starting to come back and play around with the same sort of playstyle that Naughty Sausages have been providing. Captain Oz needing to start making some sort of play here. He needs to start pushing through. They have no Warden, so it will be available for him to start pushing into site, and he will start immediately doing that. So he has made his way in towards the hallway. Will spot out one, but he's going to not read it, as Papa Taz will confirm the kill, and that's Captain Oz down. 2 players, make it 3, correction, as Naughty Sausages will look to start making the drop down. The first will drop in. It will be Orion, who's just going to get cleaned up. Pew will find 2. Papa Taz will find 1. And boys and girls, we are 1 round away from going into OT on map number 2.
This would be an insane comeback if they can make it work. Being down 4-2 at the half, and then all of a sudden it's 5-6, 1 round separating them now. So if they can do it, they need to stay composed. They can't get too excited. There's still work to be done. Now, they have the other sites available to them that they won sort of comfortably, but, you know, this CC site, it's a little bit risky. I don't think we've seen them play it yet. I do believe, Tiaki. So this is a bit of a wild card for them. This is a little bit of a tricky one, and hopefully we see them win it. They're bringing these traps to sort of catch Naughty Sausages off guard with their aggressive pushes, and maybe those Capcom traps can be utilized to their full ability. I don't know how this is going to go. This Trident need to win this here. This is what they need. Can they do it? Do they have enough in them to carry this all the way into overtime and then win it in overtime? Or is it going to stop here? Is it going to end here? Is their reign going to stop?
Well, this is the round to show it. This will be where Trident need to prove that they are willing to stay in this series so far. And you can see how quickly Naughty Sausages They have decided to make their pick significant for this round. Captain Oz jumping on to that blitz. We love to see him on the blitz, but you can already see a different sort of playstyle coming out. They are trying as hard as they can to get this round set up, set down, and done. As now Orion, he'll start opening up this wall. They'll replace that bandit charge and be successful, as Orion will not be able to open it back up.
That's all the Thatchers.
Is just able to get it out, and as you said, that's the utility gone. There is no more Thatchers available, and there is no EMP grenades available for the side of Naughty Sausages. So they will need to go for a direct push towards construction and be able to cut off any sort of plays being made by Trident, any sort of movement. And you can see straight away PU recognizing that they will be making that sort of push. He's already moved his utility, and within this last minute and 30 seconds, KJ, it is starting to look very scary for Naughty Sausages.
Yeah, they're starting to have this sort of idea that they need to push this con, and they're not even opting to go for garage. They did open up that head hole, but they're just not opting for it because they couldn't get the CC breach open. It's just not a viable push, so they're trying to make work of this, but it's just so open. That con is now a kill box with that wall open, and there's just nothing that they can really do. They're gonna have to explode soon or find some picks. Otherwise, this might be Trident's round. Now Captain Oz gonna take some damage. The impact to go out, nothing to connect though. Sweat to find the first pick onto Harry, and it's all looking grim for Naughty Sausages now as Trident, they're feeling it, but Orion, he keeps his team in this. He shuts down Shuri. That's the Azami off the board, but you know, you still have the very confident players of Sweat and Pew and Taz who are on the board. You still have Sarli giving those comms that he would definitely be doing. He's a staple in terms of those comms, but we're just seeing these trades back and forth. Siaki life finding Pew, and Captain Oz losing his life. Taz to find Orion. This is just a crazy round for a match point, but Taz to find life, and it's all left to Hills in a 1v3. 14 seconds left on the clock. Trident, they go to overtime, and this is what they need. Smiles all round. Can they continue it going into this overtime rounds?
Well, the comeback is real. 3 rounds ago, Trident did not have control. They were absolutely about to lose this match. They were 1 round off for the last 2 rounds, able to bring it back, and finally, they put it into OT. Huge ups to them so far. They've played exceptionally well, but now here is where it starts to get tough and rough, as it looks like Trident, they will be going downstairs. The hold will be the same as it has been previously. They will want to completely cut it off. Sal, the smile on his face is huge. He doesn't want to leave just yet. They want to put this into OT and win this match so they can send this series into a 3rd map. And right now, I am begging them to do it. This has been such an amazing series so far. 6-6 for Naughty Sausages versus Trident. Preparation phase for OT round number 1 is over. This is where it matters. Players will need to start playing extremely well, and Naughty Sausages right now are on the back foot. Sweat finds the first kill. Yo, its life is gonna be removed straight off the board. That is the Twitch taken back, and he can start falling back to sight, knowing that he's done well. This is just my mind is blown right now, KJ.
It's crazy that the amount of energy that they're bringing in, being at that deficit and being able to bring it all the way, and they've already found the opening pick. You know, it's not all over. We've seen a situation like this get out of control, but it is looking good. It was a little bit sort of risky of Sweat being able to run through that fire there, but lucky for him, he is a medic. He is a doctor that knows how to heal, and he's able to heal himself back to that full HP. But they've got the time, all the time in the world. They've got the C4s and the intel available, and Captain Oz is going to take a big chunk chunk of HP. He doesn't have a medic to help him out, and that'll be leaving him on about 30 HP as he tries to push down these main stairs and try and find someone off guard here as they try and open up this triple wall. But they don't really have any other options in terms of opening up the hatches. They don't have the Habana, and they have the can openers, but I'd imagine it's a bit risky to try and get a buck to open up that hatch, but he's going to do it. He's not going to get C4 as of yet, and the kitchen hatch will be open. So, Naughty Sausages, they've done well to get what they need open and have that available to them, but now they need to utilize it. They need to work out what is going to work out best for them. As Trident, they're just going to hold now. They have that advantage, and they're just going to run down the clock, which is exactly what they need to do.
Well, a minute left on the clock. OT. It's coming down to this right now. Trident still available with one extra member on their team. And Captain Oz, he's going to have very little amounts of HP as the peak will come through. Pew's going to get a little bit aggressive. He is starting to feel it. 13 kills for him on the board so far. 40 seconds remaining. Drops are going to start to come through for all of these team members. But you've got 5 players in position. One drop is going to come in. It's going to be Captain Oz. Needs to clear this player. Sitting close, but Papa Taz will find the kill. Sweat's able to find one on the Harry. Harry's able to find one on the Sal. Now it's down to 2 members as the peak comes in. Hills is going to be dropped. That's Diffuser as Orion is dropped by Sweat. Trident take the first round, and right now they are finally in the lead for this map as we go into OT match point.
Wow. They have done something. Sweat is praising any sort of whatever, this magic that they've got in them right now, because it is doing something for this team, and they're keeping them in this game and in this series. They are that one map down, so they need every sort of bit of hope that they can get. Now, Naughty Sausages, they're going to go downstairs as well as basement. It's a very comfortable site for a lot of teams, and both these teams have played it very, very well and exceptionally, but we see a lot of different play styles from these teams. You know, Naughty Sausages, they like to be a little bit more roam heavy, whereas Trident on that side, they like to be a little bit more intel heavy. Now, they still have a little bit of C4s available to them, but look, Harry, he's running that Warden, which is a very, very good operator and a dangerous operator with that 1.5 on that MPX, so they're going to be careful. Remember last time, Trident, they struggled to attack the site like this because Naughty Sausages, they just swing so well. So can Trident find a attack round in OT, or are we going the full distance to round 15 where they go back onto the defense?
And what a dream run so far for Trident. 6-7. Naughty Sausages still with one map up, so it's going to still be quite a close game, but time and time again, we've counted Trident out. The second that we have, it has been taken over, and Trident have found the control and have found the play that they need to be making. Captain Oz is going to fall back in towards the site as Shuri will now start making his drone coming up. And I mean, this is the momentum that you look for if you're Trident. You really want to stick with what you've got so far. Harry M is going to be spotted out. Going to crouch down, try and see if you can spot out someone making any sort of peek, but it's not going to be made just yet. Trident going to take a little bit slower and take their time making these pushes, taking their time making these clearance, and making sure that this position will be set up, will be in preparation. And there's the first. Papa Taz is able to find one. He's made his way into the site. Will get cleaned up. Yod's Life able to be cleaned, but Sweat, he's able to find one. It's back and forth. Harry M is going to be able to find one. Captain Oz able to trade it back. Sal's getting the diffuser down. Shuri just needs to clean it up here. 2 members remain. Harry M's making the way down the hallway, and Shuri will find one, but Hills will find it back. It's all down to Sal in 30 seconds.
He's got a lot of work to do, and he's going to find these picks. He finds one. 1v2. He needs to take these engagements safely, but when you have a C4 that's getting chucked at you, it is a bit difficult to do, and Naughty Sausages, they keep themselves in this, and they are able to defuse that quite comfortably with plenty of time on the clock. We're down to that final round, that round 15. Both teams not doing too well on the attack, but they are doing well on that basement side. But the thing is, it's round 15, it's OT, and Trident, they don't get to go to that basement side anymore. They can go to the gym, which they won more comfortably than that CC side, but can they do it? Can they go all the way from the comeback to winning this map? It's a lot to ask for, but it is still achievable. Now, Trident, they did quite well to find the picks in that round and sort of work their way on the side, but they got a little bit antsy. They got a little bit too happy that they were able to find those picks, and unfortunately, they were losing their life in the process. They can't do the same here in this final round because otherwise, it's GG. That's the game over. Now, I've said that phrase so many times, but that's just what's happened. Now, Trident, they're on the CC site. So, once again, if they can deny that wall from being opened, it's going to be huge for them because it forces Naughty Sausages to push that con side, and they just look like they struggled very, very much with that the previous round. So Pew can do absolute wonders here. It will be insane.
Oh, this will be it. This will either be the send-off, the finish-off, or it will be the best thing that Trident have done so far in this series. And right now, 7-7. It is such a close match, KJ. There is no way to really explain it less than that. And straight away, Naughty Sausages, they're going to be opening up this garage. They'll try and see if they can get a few angles, nades, being prepped up. So it looks like Yo It's Life will be able to possibly just push in, ping out the exact position. Captain Oz will find the first, and that is a big pick. Papa Taz, the man that's been running it all, will finally be removed off the board for the side of Naughty, and now they'll have to start playing around with it. But there's Sweat, he's 18 kills. He'll find one onto Yo It's Life, and that will bring it back to a 4-on-4. Once again, a big member being removed for both of these teams. Yo It's Life obviously being that direct engage, as now it will come down to 1 minute and 40 seconds on the board. The push will need to come through. The pick's going to be made. One will be found. Shuri's able to find Hills. Orion will find Shuri, but Captain Oz is on a very little amount of HP. And 1 minute and 30 seconds, 3-on-3. This is getting very nail-biting.
Yeah, but Pew, he's able to find Harry. And look, Captain Oz, he's low HP. Orion, he's in the garage, so they definitely have the control that they need, and he finds the head of Pew, and now it's all left to Sali and Sweat. C4 on the default plan if they do choose to push in, and I think they are aware of Sweat's position. He detonates the C4 prematurely, but Captain Oz, he goes for the knife, and now it's all left to the coach. Sali in this 1v2, can he do it? 55 seconds on the clock, plenty of time to work with for Naughty Sausages. Sali, he needs to play his cards right. Can the coach do it all? Can he achieve the impossible? Plans to go out in the default spot. The smoke isn't going to connect. Orion's going to be able to get this plant down nice and safely, but the smoke is covering for him, and Sali, he's now stuck on this server rack, and Orion, he's going to close it, and that is GG. Naughty Sausages, they take it just by that little bit of hope that they had. It looks rough going into OT, but they close it out.
And what do you say about that? That was the most incredible series I have seen so far throughout this game. So incredibly well played by both of these teams. I mean, you have to give it to them. They played exceptionally well, and there's just no other way to really look at it. Make sure that you show both of these two teams love, because they definitely deserve it. So what do we say about that? 8-7 Naughty Sausages Trident. It is Naughty Sausages day to win it all off. They finally end it, secured, and Oh man, I mean, how speechless was that game? That game was incredible. It came down to the last few seconds, last play styles, last movement for a lot of these teams, and last strategies. I just don't know what to say. Trident almost having the run of a lifetime, unfortunately, come to an end thanks to Naughty Sausages.
Yeah, they just get that little bit shorter than what they wanted. They wanted to get that 8-7 victory, but that would be literally deja vu all over again. They would have won Clubhouse 8-7 again, which was the exact same scoreline yesterday. But we do have the interview ready from Naughty Sausages. So it should be coming up very, very soon, and we'll be able to chat and see the insight into what they have to share about that game and about both those maps. And to do it, we have Harry M to share his thoughts and, well, a prominent fragger as well. Harry, how were we feeling about that game and about that series as a whole?
Pretty good. The first map was like, it was a good game. The first map, we liked it. Second map, I think we got a little bit too cocky, and we started losing a lot of rounds. But I think we tried to pick it up after that, and we finally like closed it out. A few of us were getting tilted as well, which wasn't helping.
I mean, with the way that second map went, right? The first map, we can talk about that later. That was just brilliant by you guys. You guys basically ran through. You knew exactly where to play, and I mean, it was your map pick. So we expect you guys to essentially know how to play that map and control that map as you wish. Now, on the second map, obviously that was their map pick. You guys had control for a lot of the start of that series and a lot of the start of that map as a general whole. Then obviously you started to flounder, you started to slow down, the picks weren't really coming through. What do you think you could have done differently in that sort of thing? I mean, you could have ended it early, we could say that, but I mean, there was a bit of a change up that you guys made.
Yeah, we just lost momentum, I think was the main thing. And then after we lost that momentum, we just started making pretty stupid mistakes. But like, it happens. We're all human. We can't really just win every round. So, but I'm glad that we managed to close it out anyway. So I'm glad with that. Happy with that.
Yeah, you definitely closed it out in the end, but you also had, you didn't have Hale in that roster as well. How has the, team been doing without Hale? Have you guys sort of been scrimming at all or practicing or running it down in ranked? Have you guys been preparing for any of the maps that you played today? No?
I'm not going to lie. I've only been playing CS. So this is my first game on since last week.
Wow.
I just jumped straight into the lobby. But like we VOD reviewed like a few hours before the game. So that like helps a bit. We know who to ban and like how they play. So we can sort of play off that. Hale should be in next week. I think Life just wanted to play because he was moving houses, so he couldn't play the previous games. But I'm pretty sure we got Hale in for next week.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, obviously, coming off, one more thing I have to say to you, Harry, as one of the MVPs from my eyes on that second map, how do you think that you guys will go up against the other teams in this competition? I mean, I believe you're versing Panic for your next game. So how do you think you're going to go up against them?
I think we'll do all right. It's we got to see what happens. They did beat us in the ladder game, but you never know. We could beat them.
Well, yeah, you guys look a lot stronger in this best of 3 format, so I think you're able to make mistakes a little bit more, and it's not as lucky in terms of the map pick and the way that the teams play on respective sides. So I think going into these best of 3 matches and that match against Panic, you definitely can do some damage. But any more words that you want to share with us, Harry, before we end things here?
No, I think that's everything from me. Thanks for the questions, though. I'm not really a talker.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming up here, my friend. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this evening with these two teams. A quick shout outs for the first few games. MVP for map number 1 definitely has to be Captain Oz with 11 kills and Hills for their team on the first map. And on the side of Trident, that is Papa Taz with 7 and PU with 7. Obviously able to open up a lot of those angles and find the rounds that they were looking for. For game number 2, we did have Harry M with 13 kills and Hills with with 13 kills as well. They were able to really slow down the pace and basically bring those rounds in that Naughty Sausages were looking for. And for Trident, it is a man, it is a myth, it is a legend. You got to show him some love. Sweat with 18 kills. An absolute demon for Trident during that game number 2 and kept them in the match. You've got to go and show him some love. But KJ, I think that's us for this evening.
It is us done. Unfortunately, we don't go to that map 3, and Naughty Sausages, they will progress through that bracket. But why don't we talk about that and have a look at the matches to come? We still have that winner bracket to be played out as well very, very shortly. But we see here how the bracket has progressed over the last week and a bit. But we had that Kill Squad versus Naughty Sausages match, which Kill Squad won 2-0, and they progressed to verse Bandits, who beat Panic in that winner bracket as well. So that'll be on the 12th of June at 7 p.m. So only a few days away, 3 days to be exact. And then we have the lower bracket, which Trident yesterday, they beat Nutty Gaming in a 2-1, which was very, very close games. 2 overtime games for the first 2 maps, and then a complete dominant performance on the last map. So then that's what got them here. And Naughty Sausages, they had a very, very clean first map, and then they had a little bit of a rough one in the second one, but they ended up closing it out, and they win 2-0 over Trident, and now they progress against Panic, and whoever wins out of that goes to that lower bracket semi-final. And it's just all coming together, Tiaki. I'm very, very excited for the future of these games, and we get to see who will be going to that grand final on the 18th. So a lot to come, a lot to still witness, but I'm very, very keen for what is to come. But any last words, Tiaki, before we end it here, before today is done for us both?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I always say, it's quite a common phrase from me. Thank you guys so much for being here. Once again, we have to thank the backside staff of Officer Ling, Credo, and Alex from XPE. Got to show them some love. They're amazing with their production and their work with administrating all the teams. Chef Jeff as well. We can't forget that man out, as well as, you know, everyone else from behind the scenes that has really been helping us here. Guys, the next game will be on the 11th. That will be casted by KJ and Elijah. Make sure you go and watch that match. It will be absolutely beautiful and absolutely fun to watch. And we hope to see you guys there. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful night. Oh, excuse me. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Stay safe, stay hydrated. See you guys.